first session on incubator strategy, which would be taken by Mr. Karthik Ketu, who is the Chief Innovation Officer of IIITB Bengaluru Innovation Center, and Professor Ramesh Raman, CEO of IIITB Bengaluru Innovation Center. So from 4 to 5 o'clock, that's the agenda, which is on incubator strategy, how you need to strategize your vision, mission, and for your incubator. And following up to the upon that, like we have Aarti Prasad Garu and Vikyat from NSR Cell IIM Bengaluru, who would be taking sessions on incubator operations. And like tomorrow we would be having sessions on growth programs for startups, which will be jointly taken by Meera Garu from Forge Accelerator and Dr. Niranjan from CCAMP. So that's the agenda for today and tomorrow. And like during these sessions, like as soon as the first session is done, which is on incubator strategy, we would be opening up for Q&A, which would be around 15 minutes. So we request all the participants to put your questions in the chat box, and like we would be taking up, and you are requested to unmute until and unless like the host asks you to do so during the Q&A sessions. So, and apart from that, like we will also have short breaks of 2 to 3 minutes, and we would be again joining the session around 4:30 or so. Typically the session break would be around 4:45, which would be around 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. And later we would be having sessions on incubator operations, etc. So without any further delay, I would request Professor Ramesh Raman, who is the Chief Executive Officer of IIIT Bengaluru Innovation Center, to speak.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just allowing you to share your screen, Karthik. Yes. Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yeah, this screen you can share for Professor Ramesh. Later I
Yes, I don't have slides. I'm going to run through. Yes, please.
Okay, sure. Fine. Over to you, Ramesh.
Yes, thank you. So what I thought was, because we are going to talk about incubator strategy, I thought I will talk about my experience running IIITB Innovation Center over the last 6 years. From 2013 and 14, I have been running the Innovation Center, running accelerator program, incubation programs. I thought I'll use this opportunity to speak about what has been done, what are the lessons I have learned, which will be of use for maybe some thoughts that I share might be of some use. So that's the approach. Then post which Mr. Karthik will talk about the plans going forward at the Innovation Center, the strategy and all. So if I how much time do I have to speak?
Sir, you can go on, sir. 10
yes, sir. 10 minutes you have.
Okay, fine. So IIITB Innovation Center is a not-for-profit company that was set up in the year 2009 as part of TIDE 1.0 funding. So the IIITB, as you know, is an institute that came up in the year 1999. So after around 10 years, this Innovation Center was set up. Now, the focus of IIITB as an institute is on academics, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And primarily, the institute prides itself as a graduate school. So it only offers a master's level program or a PhD level program. So the innovations that comes out of the institute are expected to be research led. That's the way the Innovation Center was conceptualized. So what I thought was, I will try to talk about the activities of the Innovation Center using a particular framework. Normally we hear about this balanced scorecard and how Strategizer have been talking about business model canvas, and how Strategizer has been talking about the fits. We have what are called as founder to market fit, market to problem fit, problem to solution fit, and solution to market fit. Essentially, this is just a framework. What I wanted to talk about in this, like if we use the same framework to analyze how an incubator could structure itself and strategize its operations, then we have a particular thought process or a flow with which we can discuss the activities of the Innovation Center. So I'll take the first fit, founder to market fit. Now this fit, I mean, irrespective. So in this case, what I have done is essentially consider the Innovation Center, the incubator itself as a startup. So if I view myself as a startup founder and the incubator itself as a startup, then I will go through the same problems and phases as a founder of a startup will go through. The first problem is, am I the right person to do this activity? So the founder to market fit. I see that there is a problem in the market. I, as a founder, do I even appreciate that problem? I mean, what is the purpose with which I am born or I am here? So the founder to market fit. Essentially, the focus here is on the purpose. The second fit is market to problem fit. Essentially, the focus there is on the problem that we want to address.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Your slide is not. I think you are.
No, I don't have a slide. I don't have a slide deck.
Sure.
I don't have a slide deck. I'm just trying to, basically, I'm trying to live through the experience and then talk about what I have gone through, so that it may or may not be relevant, but I thought that I will use some framework to talk about this. Obviously, it did not happen in the same fashion, but I've tried to group my experience across these fits,
Sure.
just to use the same language that we talk to the startups as incubators, right? So market to problem. You will get to know about these frameworks and all. But essentially what I thought of doing was to focus on the purpose, the focus on the problem, the focus on the solution, and finally the focus on the go-to-market aspects of the incubator. Right? So firstly, the purpose. I mean, why do we even try to do this activity of incubation? It's very internal, very personal dependent, person dependent, right? So it depends. So it is the whole purpose here is to understand ourselves, understand where we are, what do we want to do, right? So when I say we, it refers to the institute. So what is this institute trying to achieve? Why does the institute want to have an innovation center or incubation center in the first place itself? So if without understanding this, there is no way we can run a incubator wherever it is, right? First, we need to understand what's the purpose behind that. So if I look at IIITB as an institute, it's a master's level institute. It graduates around 200 students a year. Primarily, these are all, the institute focuses on research, and it's a single discipline, computer science alone, with additional disciplines being electronics communication, as these are secondary disciplines, electronics communication and digital society. So if this is the focus, and all the faculty members, predominant, number of faculty members are either advisors to government or advisors to NGOs, foundations. Now, this is the background context when the incubator has to be, where the incubator is set up. So if that is the case, we will have to have a clear differentiator with respect to other incubators or accelerators or whatever programs going on. So essentially what we thought was, okay, this incubator can, as a strategy, focus on the issue of technology and the intersection of technology and society. So this could be a focus area. So as you look at your own incubators, you might see that, okay, as you look inward, you will find out that, okay, this is a good starting point. So our good starting point was how the intersection of technology and society matters. You have to imagine this way back 2013-14 time frame, right? Around the time frame, government of Karnataka also issued, announced a policy called Vision 2020, as part of which how technology can be play a great role in governance and great role in society. So tying all these things together, the great purpose that was achieved was the institute is already focusing on social issues. Government is also focused on social issues. So that the theme that we came up was civic tech or digital social innovation. That's the focus. So if the focus is on civic tech or digital social innovation, so our purpose is achieved. Okay, it aligns very well with the institute. So consequently, as an innovation center, we can focus very nicely on this concept. Now, the next question is, whose problem are we trying to solve? Now, we have understood our purpose. We stand here for trying to evangelize or nurture solutions that are technology enabled and that is trying to solve a social problem. But we are a technical school. So we can't solve a non-tech issue because that will not gel with our core purpose as an institute. So we have to look for tech startups, and not any tech startup, very early stage tech startups. Otherwise, the institute can't play a role. If it is a late stage tech startup, then the focus would be on finance, fundraising, and all. So we focused on tech schools. So as you look back, as you try to internalize what I am saying, you might decide, no, we are a business school, in which case the concept will be very different for you. You can appropriately change it. We said, okay, we are a tech school. We will now focus on civic tech, very early stage startups, and where they need some research guidance from us, research mentorship from us. Now, the next important thing is we always, in marketing, in business, it's always location, location, location. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, we are located in Bangalore, and that too bang in the middle of Electronic City, opposite Infosys headquarters. So what it means is it has its own plus as well as its negatives. Bangalore has got so many incubators and accelerators, many academic institutions, each of them having a very good incubation and programs. So we will have to now differentiate ourselves nicely and position ourselves well. Otherwise, it will not help us in any fashion. We will not be able to attract startup. So number one, we said, okay, it is civic tech. Okay, so that eliminates quite a few incubators and accelerators. Number two, we said, we will focus on early stage tech startups. So that will exclude, separate us from all the business incubators and other programs. Number three, we said that, okay, we will focus on even those who are, those who have not yet set up a company. So that will also help us, because it further eliminates a few corporate players who are looking for established companies to support. Now, with that understanding, we are also in the middle of Electronic City. So that way it is very good premium space we are occupying. So it will attract quite a few folks who are in the nearby campuses who want to try out entrepreneurship. Now, the issue that we face is we have decided on civic tech. Now, civic tech means the solution that the startup is coming up with is going to be useful to the society. Now, obviously, a student who is just in his 20s or 18, 19, 20, they may not understand what are the issues the society really faces. So it cannot be student-run ventures. So when we attracted startups, we started attracting startups with founders who are 30, in the age group of 30 to 40. Now, in the age group of 30 to 40, the problem is that they have seen the world and they also have enough expertise in management, in issues that legal, finance. So we have an advantage. We don't have to focus on those issues that much. And at the same time, they are sufficiently bootstrapped. So that also helped us, because then we don't have to worry about funding from the word go. They will come to us, and then we can then focus more on the technology. We can nurture them on technology. And that way we are now clearly, our purpose is well served, and we are able to attract the right kind of startups into our ecosystem. Now, one thing now we have to do is what problems these startups have. That brings us to the next phase. Now we have finished the purpose fit phase. Now there is a great purpose we have got. Now we have communicated that purpose through our program. We called this as IMAX program, IoT to mobile applications for community excellence. Now we have achieved our first fit. We have just told that this is the program. Now we are seeking startups. Now as the startups come in, we don't want any startup. We want only early stage tech startups which are focused on understanding the market problem, understanding the opportunity, focusing on developing proof of concepts or prototypes only up to the pilot stage. We don't want to take any startup beyond pilot, because then the issues of the startups are going to be very different, and we may be geared to address that, but that is not aligning with our purpose as an institute. So again, always we have to think. So we started saying that our focus is primarily anybody between problem to to pilot. So any stage in this phase, startups can apply, and we will be able to help with our ecosystem partners. So around the same time, we were also trying to build ecosystem players who can help us in this continuum, problem all the way to pilot. Next phase, as we go into the next phase, I am not sure if you have questions. You kindly either post in the group or just hold on. Once I finish, then you can ask the questions also. You can kindly note it down. The next phase we go through is from the purpose, we go into the problem phase. Now, in this problem phase, this is the problem that the startups are having. Now, we want to understand the problems, what they have. Now, in this phase, as we reached out to the startups, we realized that these startups are very good intention, focusing on civic issues, government issues, social issues. They want to solve it through technology, and they are not, but they don't have the necessary tech expertise in-house, or they don't have enough expertise. Number two, they are not getting supported formally by other players in the market. So they are coming to us for both tech and mentorship in these areas of POC, prototype, pilot. Additionally, they have not still fully understood the domain problem. They want to solve the issue in healthcare, but they have some experience, some expertise, but they don't know exactly the problem that is prevalent. So they are looking for domain knowledge also. So consequently, what we did was we created a framework, which created a model called as a four-legged model. Essentially, we try to bring in NGOs as partners who can explain to us the issues that are faced in the market. We brought the institute faculty and researchers to help on the technology piece. We brought external mentors to help the startups. The startups acted as the go-to-market partners. Essentially, they will work with the researchers and then try to understand the problem. And then we try to help the customers. So essentially, our focus was on validating the problem. Is this problem that the startup trying to solve actually exists? If it exists, how severe is this problem? What is the size of the problem? All these things we were trying to address, to understand. So what we did was we ran workshops with partnering with NGOs. So we did hackathons with organizations like Janagraha, e-government foundations, workshops on human trafficking with Justice and Care, civic tech summits, what we call as IMAX civic tech summits. Then we try to record all of these things and then understand the startup's own understanding of the problem. So this helped us, and this also helped the faculty to really appreciate the depth of the problem. So what we have done so far, first level, we achieved the purpose. We understood where as an institute we stand and what as an incubator or accelerator we should do. The next stage is we understood the problem faced by the startups who are in that phase. The third thing is now we have to offer a solution to them. Now this is where we try to structure this ecosystem well. I mean, we got the NGOs, researchers, go-to-market partners, and customers all aligned nicely, and we try to come up with solutions. So the solution we came up was, at that particular point of time, the focus has always been on incubator. You ask anybody in 2014-15, everybody will say, I'm running an incubation program. All academic institutions used to have a 3 to 5 year time frame incubation program in Bangalore, especially. So we have to stand out from the crowd. So we said, oh, we are running an accelerator program. So people were wondering, what is this accelerator program? We called ourselves an early stage accelerator program. So we try to distinguish at every stage. 3 to 5 years is the norm. We said it's a 100-day program. They said, okay, it's a rolling, continuous basis people can apply. We said, no, it's a 100-day program. We said the incubation is a very hands-off kind of an approach. We said, no, it's a hands-on. We will have mentors with weekly status. It will be done. And then we also said that, like corporates, we will also have a demo day at the end of the 100-day program with at least one startup receiving a funding. Obviously, we don't have funds, but we will ask some of the corporates to give a CSR grant or some investors to take it to the next level. And we also did one thing like to differentiate. We said every cohort will focus on a technology theme, whether it is mobile applications or data science or platform. So we tried to ride on the technology wave. Whatever was the flavor of the season, we took that as the primary focus. It is not to say that every startup had to forfeit that technology, but see, all of these things is actually signaling to everybody, the startups, that you are with a winning incubator. You are with a forward-looking accelerator program. So that's the primary thought. We also said that, hey, if you are not able to, because we are in an institute, we also had the advantage. We also said that, hey, you will have access to the labs. You will have access to a wonderful cafeteria. Because we are Knight in the Bank of Electronic City, you can host your customers on campus. We will invite you can invite your, not customers in the sense that your prospects to our campus. We will be with you in the meetings. We will be with you in your investor meeting. So it worked out very well. To a certain extent, we started off as an accelerator. You can look through these models. Actually, in the business model, we'll see that the incubator is one model. Accelerator is another model. There's another model called a studio model, where actually we will work with them as part of their team. You will not be able to distinguish which is the institute side, which is the startup side. So essentially what we did was, for every startup, we gave a faculty member as an anchor faculty. Now this faculty then started advising that startup, and they also took, so effectively we have offered a solution. We said, here is an accelerator program, and here you have got an anchor faculty who will be working along with you, and as accelerator program team, we will actually work with you as an extended team. So essentially there is no distinction between the institute and the startup. We are all in it together. So it's like a studio model. We are actually producing a creation where you and I are working together to solve this problem. So that's the way we framed this whole thing. Now we have to offer this solution in such a way that it is attractive to the startup, right? So what we also said was, this is a zero fee, zero equity model. Normally what happens, if you look at at least the Bangalore scenario, almost all academic institutions, Bangalore, Chennai, all academic in Hyderabad, they used to have an equity. Any startup who applies, they will take equity when the startup applies. So we said, hey, you know what? We offer all of these things, and at the same time, it's zero fee for you and zero equity that you have to pay. So what is in it for us as an institute? We said, this is a way by which the startups act as eyes and ears in the market. So they can understand the problem. They then feed those problems for our faculty and researchers to work on research issues through technology. So the problems that the startups identified were given as bite-sized, as project electives, research electives, so that they can actually work on the real problems that are present in the field. In fact, there is a concept that the institute we followed, what is called as a working hospital model. See, in a hospital, what happens is, as soon as a student joins the hospital, the MBBS program, from second year onwards, they are supposed to actually treat patients. They are actually trying to act as night duty doctors, night shift. So we said, okay, we will do the same approach. We will ask the students to work on these as project electives. So they will work still with the faculty, but they will really work on the startups problems. So consequently, the faculty, it was a win-win. So the faculty were able to write a lot of articles for newspapers. They were able to write blogs. And the faculty and the startups used to write. The faculty will focus on the domain problem, and the startup will write about the issues that they are trying to solve through technology. So it was a great winning combination. So this is how it helped us. Over time, what also happened was corporates, CSR grants came to us, and we also got additional space on the institute for renting out to the startups. That was not initially there. Later on, when the model became a little more great collaboration started happening, we actually hosted the startups on campus as well, at which point they had to pay to the institute. But otherwise, as a program, we said, okay, it's a zero equity, zero fee, 100-day cohort based, mentors with the demo day. And we also did the demo day as part of the institute event called RISE. Institute as a symposium, annual event. Along with that, during that event, we also gave an award to select startups. And there also we followed you can actually look through, there is something called as an Edison Award, which is given in the US. So the Edison Award has a great framework for selecting impactful innovations. We thought, okay, we will give that a similar kind of a IMAX Turia Award. So for the startups. Now, this is how we ran the program. At the same time, we were actually a 2-member. We were only 2 members running this program. IMAX was run as a 2-member team, myself and 1 more person. So we did not have any full-time. So to make ourselves financially viable, right? Internally, we did not have anybody working full-time on this program. finance, legal, marketing, everything was institute resources. So institute, whatever they have been doing, we were piggy banking on their help. And then they were sort of helping us. Externally also, try to say that, hey, we are not here to help you on your legal or finance issues or secretarial issues. So we have an MOU with IIM Bangalore. We have on our board professors who have enormous years of experience from IIM Bangalore, Professor Kumar, from IISc, Professor Murali, who runs the SID program with us. Professor Kumar used to head NSR cell with us. So, and we started collaborating with corporates on their corporate programs. So the corporates actually started helping us with their design thinking programs or funding programs. So they were helping us on those. So we only limited ourselves to product, technology, proof of concepts, prototypes. This is all. And one more thing what we did was we considered ourselves as an institute to be as like a small city. So we are based in Electronic City. So we used to pilot all of the startup solutions in our own campus. So that way we will be the first customer for every startup, for every solution that is appealing to a smart city or an enterprise. We will be the first guy, and we will be a paid pilot will happen in our campus. So this is how we try to help the startups. Consequently, what happened, we had over the years, we had startups like Srishti, which focused on Aadhaar, Mathologic that focused on crew scheduling for Indian Railways, Easy M2M that worked on mining industry, Fields of View that worked on smart city solutions, Online RTI, which focuses on RTI queries, Morning Cart, which got acquired by Big Basket as BB Daily. We have Kalki Foundation focusing on culture, along with Bangalore Press, a leading institution. We've been for Vision Empower on visually challenged, where they work with Sri Ramana Maharshi Academy of Blind, Friends for Inclusion on auditory issues, Smiles on mental wellness. So we had a host of companies, startups which worked with the institute, and institute has been kind enough to have IP policy which is quite flexible. So that way the startups can leverage the IP that has been jointly created. And we've also been fortunate by virtue of being located in Electronic City and Bangalore. We were able to tap into the corporate grants from Samsung South Korea, Samsung India, Accenture, Fidelity, Emphasis, HP Aruba. So a lot of corporates also grants came to us. So, so essentially, yes, sorry.
Yeah, no. Time check, sir.
Sorry, I'm just going to finish in 5 minutes.
Sure.
So so essentially what happened was we got the purpose fully clear. So we said civic tech, then we said the problem we have fully understood. We'll focus on early stage startups. And then we said solution is an accelerator program, which is clearly differentiated from others. And then as a market offering, we said, okay, it's zero fee, zero equity. And then we will work with all these startups. We'll bring the NGOs. This is all we did. Now, what happened as a result was we were able to establish a lot of research centers jointly with the help of startups. We have eHealth Research Center. We have Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center funded by Government of Karnataka. Emphasis Center funded by Emphasis Research. In Bangalore Tech Summit last year, we were the best showcase. We won the best showcase award. We have a lot of acquisitions, Big Basket, Microsoft, Cisco, Elevate 100 grants we received. So in some sense, the whole approach that we took got validated. Now, why I'm trying to tell all these things is not to say that this was a perfect model. It's actually invented every quarter. I mean, invented every quarter to figure out, is our approach the right approach? Are we moving in the right direction? Can we do something different? So it has always been a constant struggle. And the way we worked was we actually treated this as a startup. We said that, okay, this is a startup which has to make itself viable and make itself relevant. So we use the same, I'm just speaking out using the same lingo and the language that the startups are asked to do. Essentially, as a startup in early stages, which is no funding, we also expect a startup to be at least not more than 2 to 3 members. So, and they should be bootstrapped. We followed the same model. Only 2 members who have to earn their own living through the way it is done, and it has to add value to the institute. So if you can relate to your incubator, relate to your sponsor, and then say how this can be of relevance or appropriateness to your parent organization, that would be the most appropriate way. So till now, this is the approach that we have done. Going forward, I mean, recently we have been selected by MAITI as the Tide 2.0 Center. Now, as part of G2C, Mr. Karthik Kittu is taking the Innovation Center in the next phase on its next phase using the Tide grant. So I now give it to Karthik to speak about the go forward plans. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
If you have
Professor
any
Ramesh.
questions, I'm not sure what is the process.
So questions we will just take after Karthik's session. So for last 15 minutes.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Professor Ramesh. Thank you so much for your insights. Now we have Mr. Karthik Kittu, who is the Chief Innovation Officer at IIITB Bengaluru Innovation Center. Karthik, over to you. I'll just stop sharing my screen so that.
Just enable screen sharing for me.
Yeah. You can share your screen. Participants, we will take the questions soon after Karthik's session. He is also representing IIIT Bengaluru. In case if you have any questions, you can put it over chat, but later we will just open it for 10-15 minutes for Q&A. Over to you, Karthik.
So maybe at 4:40, I mean, we try to keep it quick, maybe just about 20 minutes. Thank you, Professor Ramesh, for taking us through the journey. I know the initial journey for everyone is, I think the toughest, right? On that note, thank you. And I work as the Chief Innovation Officer at IIITB Innovation Center. After some corporate and startup experience, so I've been on both sides in corporate and startups before this. Before we start off, there's a interesting note on there was a Karnataka State Innovation Report that has come in, and this is actually for Karnataka. So Bangalore is home to about 800 colleges, and out of which 100 plus, I think, are engineering. Home to key academic institutions, as you see, and an enormous ecosystem. And below, you see some of the numbers from the innovation report of last year. Of course, prominently, I am Bangalore, ISC, and IIIT, and many more colleges figure, in this report. Some of you were asking some of the details. I mean, we've tried to put in all of it. Our last journey of 11 years here. Of course, we incorporated 2009, as Professor Ramesh said, and we just started off as an incubation space, a 50-seater, and then there was a seed funding available. 7 startups were selected for seed funding from Tide 1.0 scheme. All of us are here together because of the Tide 2.0. And of course, we formed the eCell in 2013. I'll come to those various terminologies later in this presentation. Professor Ramesh spoke about the IoT to mobility apps for community excellence, the incubator, IMAX, as it was very popularly called. And from then on, we had different cohorts. He spoke. One was on Internet of Things, one was on mobile apps, one was on Samsung sponsored hardware. And now, we are moving. Of course, there was also tech for social good, as he spoke. Of course, I know, many incubators listening in has all of this, but as a general practice, when Arvind spoke to me, I put this as a general practice. What can be offered? Of course, this is I want to keep this open, very interactive later. So most of these is a mix and match. You have to find your own, mix and match, be it co-creation or space or mentoring services, or what are the things that you want to offer. Just put little more best practices on this. Of course, sometimes or many a times the location matters, as even Professor Ramesh was talking to us. We are hosted at the Karnataka Tech Innovation Hub. The Machine Intelligence and Robotics Center of the government lies with IIITB next to the Innovation Center. We also are a common instrumentation facility by the government of Karnataka. We listed. Also, like you said, Elevate is the state program for startups, and we work closely with their teams. And as you as we all know, we are also Type 2.0 center, and we also work very closely with the DST. Some of the highlights are, of course, you can have you be infrastructure ready. It's a connected community. It's flexible membership, events and amenities, and of course, a lot of creativity and collaboration. I know the pandemic hit, a lot of us went virtual, but some of the learnings that I thought we should incorporate is being flexible on your membership and having a hybrid board. We are going to open up in January for the startups to experiment, but I know the pandemic has taught us a lot of things to work in hybrid mode. So these are some of the infrastructure best practices I thought I should come to you.